Yo guys, it's Shadow here and welcome back to another episode of Space Engineers. And I think I have my audio turned down. Yes I do, there we go, much better. Alright, so today we're trying to put down and work on the second set of jump drives, and we'll probably also gonna try to make the hull a bit more coherent around the jump drive. So yeah, that's pretty much the goal of today. And I'm trying to get that done, hopefully. Or at least, well, you know, I kind of want at least to be able to place everything and to make everything look nice and neat, so that we have a plan to go forward, you know, for next episode. But, oh, Jesus, energy lacking, no. But yeah, also, I'm like recording 3 episodes, not 3 Space Engineers, but you know, the next 3 days, because I'm over the Easter days, I'm actually gonna be away for a few days. But since I have a bit of time today on my hands, I'll probably just record all the videos, so there's not gonna be a gap really. Oh, that's nice. Right. So, let me see, I just wanted to place these so it looks a little bit more complete on this side. And then, where do we have our jump drives? There we go. So, which way around do we place them? Console on the bottom right. Well, actually, if I turn them around this way, the console must be, let's see, like this, right? Does it matter which way around? I actually don't know. No, probably not. Okay. So one is gonna be here. Oh god, the T key is screwing me again. Here and here. Then here and here. And then the last set. Oh, yeah, almost got it. There we go. So now, I'm just gonna fix these pieces and just gonna put in all of the steel plates that we need. There we go, I think that's pretty good. This will have a good base to work from, I think. Ow, Jesus. Alright, let me put these in as well while we're at it. Excellent. Ow! I'm very good at flying into things. I sometimes feel this is my best quality by far. Okay, let's start off with steel plates. Let's just get a bunch of those and try to spread them all over these guys. And also, you know, take some computers just to fill out the inventory, shall we? And that's all the steel plates needed. Excellent. Okay. So, what else do we need? I think we'll just... Right now, let's just take a ton of computers. Actually, we need a whole bunch more computers, I feel. We're running a little bit low on these guys, so let's make like 3,000 more. Should hopefully be quite fast. Oh, Jesus, that could have been deadly. Yeah, we can barely fill 3 of these. We need a whole bunch more. God damn. Alright, let me start to get some batteries over, maybe? Energy cells? Power cells? Yeah, let's get some of these over, why not? And then... I mean, gravity components, detector components, superconductors, all of these we'll have to source as well. I'm actually not sure on detector components. We do still have a bunch of those, apparently. But the other components, I think we're pretty much out of. Well, look, we have even more detector components here. Might be just enough, actually. Let's check that. We might have just created enough detector components, like just on the spot there. I'm pretty sure we did, actually. Okay, we overshot a little bit with production, but that's fine. Metal grids as well. Let's get metal grids next. I think the production this time is going to be a lot faster, just because we have like pre-made a lot of the important components, and we are not like on the brink of running out of certain resources. That helps for sure. Which means this room is going to be finished more quicker than I imagined. Which is nice. Kinda nice. Oh, didn't even use the computers. Oh well. Okay. Oh, so now we have 2 of these with 28. Let's just go for the third one. And 2 more computers. Actually, can we... No. Oh, we can take one of these. Not really gonna help. Yeah, well. Okay, let's start filling these up. Nice. We just need to go back once more for the grids and... Oh, God. You know, sometimes it's really difficult to maneuver, you could think. And you see me flying around like that. But to be fair, I think I'm just bad at that. What did I want to get? Oh, yes. More of these. Let's put all of them in. Excellent. Okay. So now gravity components. So 6 times 20 is 120, I believe. So we shall make 120 gravity components. Where are they? Graph component. There we go. We can make some of those. Let's also get more of the computers. Get these finished up. Alright, I think that's good. Now, construction components is an easy thing we can transport all in one. Hopefully. Or mostly. Excellent. That's that. Now we only need gravity components, power cells, and superconductors. Now, superconductors we should have more than enough. I think power cells we also have a lot. It's super irritating. I don't know if you can hear that actually. Recently I cleaned up a little bit in some old boxes that I still had lying around somewhere, and I found like a cat toy. You know, like it's hard to describe. It's kind of like a tube that goes around in a circle basically, and you can pop a ball into it, and then on the top of the tube there's like a little slit. You know, so the cats can basically get their claws through the slit and then poke at the ball and then just roll it around inside that tube. And I decided to just put that in the corner of my room, and I forgot about it. And now I heard like somewhere behind me something rolling around, and I know today my wife is actually not at home today, so I was like, "What the fuck is that just now?" Oh man, sometimes shit like that, you know, is so mundane, but it can really scare the shit out of you, even if you know 100% that it cannot be another human being. You know, but you're just like, oh god, what's making that noise? Although, to be fair, at one time I had another human being inside our home without me knowing it. That was creepy, but also explainable. You know, we were away for a few days, and we asked one of our neighbors, a lovely old lady, to take care of our cats. We gave her like an extra key, and she said, "Oh yes, I would love to do that." Great. And then we went to holiday, and I actually came back like 1 day earlier than planned, because I'm not quite sure how that worked exactly. I think my wife went to visit maybe like some friends or family, and I decided to go home. So I came home a bit earlier, and my wife didn't tell the neighbor lady. Well, to be fair, neither did I, so it's not like her responsibility, but still, you know, didn't tell the neighbor lady that I was already at home, and that was playing like a computer game, you know. And oh no, wait, it wasn't holiday. I think I was supposed to be somewhere for a work thing, and then that was cancelled like on a short notice, and I was at home working. Or something like that. Anyway, I was doing something on the computer anyway, and normally I have like music blasting, you know, when I do anything on the computers, be it working or playing games, anything. And there was probably just a pause in between songs where it was quiet, and I hear something from somewhere, you know, in the flat, and I'm like, hold on, that's not a noise our cats would make. That is not a cat noise. And I was like, I'm gonna investigate. And I was walking around, and I have to say, it was lucky that I didn't grab something, you know, just out of instinct, so I could hit somebody with like an intruder with it. I was just walking around expecting to find nothing, and then it was our neighbor lady, of course, in our kitchen feeding our cats. The good thing I made myself heard quite obviously, because I realized quite quickly that it was hers, and I thought, oh god, I don't want to give that lady a heart attack. But yeah, well. Okay, so I think, let's see, so we have 20 graph comps in here, 15 in here, that's 35 out of the 120 we need, so technically I think we need 85 still in here. Yeah, that makes that is perfect actually. Now I'm just not 100% sure that we have enough power cells, to be honest. Yeah, probably do, but you know. But yeah, this is of course now going to be the awkward part where we have to fly back and forth so many times just to get these freaking things delivered. But yeah, there you go. Yeah, I've actually been recently I've been playing lots of like Modern Warfare again, and Jesus Christ, man, you know, I consider myself to not be like a good player, but decent, you know. And oddly enough, I often end up like on the upper scale of the leaderboards, but not because of kills. Because, you know, I play a lot of like objective-based game modes like Hardpoint and HQ and stuff like that. And I tend to die a lot in these games because I just, like a freaking suicidal lemmings, I just run into the objectives and try to get rid of as many of people as possible, you know, take them down with me, essentially, kind of like that. And my god, it's so crazy in a game like that, as in a shooter. Holy cow, do you notice age? Because again, I don't think that I'm a bad player per se, and oftentimes I'm actually quite good. But every once in a while, I will end up in a lobby with it either has to be cheaters, pro players, or just some freaking young whiz kids, because my goodness, you know, you just come around the corner and they like spin around 180 and headshot you like with no time whatsoever to react. I hadn't even begun to start shooting and blam, you're on the floor. Sometimes it's frustrating, but I try to make up for that with like tactical knowledge, you know, like trying to anticipate where they're coming from. Sometimes I just start firing when I come around the corner to even have a chance. Oh man. It's actually a good thing when we have our annual LAN party, which has been moved to September, October, because yeah, COVID still. Who would have thought that this would be such a long thing, huh? But yeah, there you go. But yeah, I'm quite happy that in that group that we have this LAN party. The age group is actually, I think I'm on the lower average on that age group, so I have a decent chance there to come out on top. It's quite nice. But yeah, it's kind of crazy if you think about it that COVID is still a thing. I mean, it's like more than a year now, at least in Switzerland, like officially more than a year of on and off lockdown stuff. And we just recently, my wife and I, we were celebrating, of course, our marriage day. Is that how you say it? Somehow that sounds weird. Is that marriage day? Marriage day? Is there not a better word for that? Anniversary, I think that's how you would say it, right? And we just realized we basically were so freaking lucky because we married like at 13th of March, which was a Friday the 13th. Haha, yes, I know, unlucky and stuff, but it was the most luckiest day we could ever have, not just because of getting married, but because it was essentially in Switzerland, it was the last day where you could actually have like public, not public events, but private events with a lot of people. Because I think before Friday the 13th, they were like, the ruling was, yeah, private events with up to 50 people, which was exactly what we had. And basically on our day when we married, like in the afternoon, there was a press conference where they said, yeah, public events or private events with more than 50 people are no longer allowed. It has to be like, I don't know what they decided, but definitely less. But, you know, obviously our thing was already in progress, so nothing we can do about that. But we literally just scraped by there, by the skin on our teeth, like literally. Just, it could have been one day later, and we would have had to cancel everything. So Jesus Christ, it just reminded me of that recently. When we celebrated, you know, with a night in because we couldn't really do anything big, but you know, it was nice. But Jesus Christ, man. I wonder how long this is going on. Of course, the vaccination thing is going. I haven't registered yet. In Switzerland, you can register, and then you basically get assigned to in which risk category you belong, and then you get vaccinated accordingly. And I mean, I think right now they're done. Soon they will be done with vaccinating the most risk people, which are like, I think 65 plus or something. And then I think it's 60 plus, and I think before that is also essential medical personnel, and I think then my wife is gonna be in the next group, like group C, which is medical stuff that is not super essential because she works in a pharmacy. They basically, you know, they wear masks anyway at the moment, so it's not like super critical. But yeah, she's gonna be one of the next ones getting vaccinated. But me, Jesus Christ, I'm gonna be group XY or something, because I'm, well, you know, I'm not young anymore, but I'm in an age where it shouldn't be that dangerous, you would think. Or the chances of it being dangerous are low. And I can and do work from home most of the time, so that bumps me down like a lot in the pecking order. So yeah, you haven't really registered. You know, I don't know, because I guess it's because I have kind of a fear of needles. Kinda. It's not like crippling fear, but I just don't like the thought of it. So maybe I'm thinking like, oh, you know, maybe everything is gonna resolve itself before I actually need to vaccinate. I don't know what. It's a weird kind of way of thinking, because technically I should just say, yeah, get vaccinated and be done with it. But maybe I'm just hoping like that everybody that gets vaccinated before me, that they find something out about it, you know, like that they can improve before it's my turn, essentially. It's kind of like my approach on gaming most of the time. I get a lot of games way after they are released because I'm basically, I'm of the opinion that a lot of games get released barely finished with a lot of bugs, so I tend to let people play them for a few months so they can fix the bugs, and then I enjoy them as they are intended. You know what I mean? And maybe that's the same thinking pattern there that I have on the vaccines, you know, that I'm like, oh yeah, let all these people get vaccinated first, iron out the kinks. And it's such a bad thing to say if you think about it, because it's, you know, with games, it's games. It's not that important. Well, says me, whose hobby is gaming for the most part. But you know, it's people's lives that I'm talking about that could get affected by a vaccine. Because, you know, I'm not an anti-vaxxer by any chance. I think vaccinating is in most parts a good thing. But of course, especially if something is developed that shorthandedly, there's of course gonna be like side effects. Of course there are. So maybe that's the mindset. I don't know. It's sometimes really difficult to comprehend this whole situation anyway. So yeah, there you go. I'm just you know, trying to at least talk about something interesting while I'm doing a very mundane task, if you think about it. I mean, Jesus Christ, look at this. We're barely done with one of the jump drive, but hey, anyway, at least I think all of the gravity components have been installed now, so that's nice. At least that is done. There we go, another one. Boom. Now here we'll also need all of the freaking batteries as well. So yeah, this will still be a while, but I'm confident that we get it done today. Very confident indeed. But yeah, speaking of games that came out a while ago and have been bug tested, I think maybe now the time is right to start playing Cyberpunk. I heard they just released a big update. So maybe this is the time to get into the game. Because there's a lot of games where I happened to get to the game late and experience like the best version of it. Divinity Original Sin was the same way as well. Even though I think when I started playing, just a few weeks later, the Definitive Edition came out, and I still completed the campaign in the normal edition. I now have also completed it in Definitive Edition with my brother and a few friends in a 4-player playthrough. That was insane, by the way. I have a few things actually, footage of that playthrough because it was fucking funny. The problem, of course, it's in Swiss German, so it's very hard for you to understand. But my God, I mean, we were idiots. I mean, we kind of abused the Drudane planting. I don't even think you should call it a bug, because it's exactly working how they intended it to work. But every once in a while, you know, when somebody just goes off for a smoke or has to go to the toilet, you basically see 2 idiots getting out like 10 pots and start planting Drudane because, you know, why not? Making some money on the sides, essentially. And we were, I mean, it's hard to describe. That playthrough was so freaking chaotic. I think in my first playthrough I tried to be mostly a good guy, and I feel a lot of things I solved in at least a neutral or a good fashion. On that playthrough we were murdering psychopaths, sometimes willingly, sometimes unwillingly. I know, like in one of the cities, I think in Driftwood, one of our players, without the knowledge of the others, murdered somebody, and then the guards found out about it, and suddenly the whole town wanted to kill us, which led to the eradication of the whole town. It was quite hilarious. It was pretty good playthrough. And also the Definitive Edition, there was a few interesting changes to it. A few interesting things that I hadn't seen before. So, and also I think a few things that were in the base game that I just didn't encounter because of the way I played it, which is really interesting. I like games like that, you know, where on a second playthrough you can actually discover new stuff and you have no clue about it. You know, there's sometimes obvious stuff where, you know, oh, it's either decision A or B. and that's it. You know what I mean? So, you know, oh, if I go with decision A, these guys are going to be my allies and these guys are going to be my enemies. And then decision B is vice versa, right? But I feel in Divinity sometimes the decision that there's decisions that you can make that have so much more implications that you cannot foresee. Because then sometimes in the later game something happens and you're like, oh yeah, that just happened. That is how it's supposed to happen. But every once in a while you'll then find things like, oh, if I did it now a different way and now something completely different happened. Because, you know, of long-ranging consequences that you couldn't have foreseen. Which I really enjoy. It makes playing games so fun, in my opinion. You know, replayability is a big thing. Especially with like RPGs. I mean, Jesus, I know myself in almost every RPG that I ever played. It doesn't matter if it's a single player or a MMO. I always end up creating like hundreds of characters. Character creation is such an interesting thing for me, you know, like I want to try all the combinations and all the different variants of something. I'm just transfixed by stuff like that for some reason. I don't know why. You know, World of Warcraft was the exact same thing. Of course, I had like a main character that I played with the guilds that I had back then, but you know, I was like, we could make a dwarf hunter, or we could make a night elf hunter, or a orc hunter. Let's make all of these variants and see which one is the coolest. Even though technically the differences were not that big, although I think in classic they were a little bit bigger than in the later editions. I think they toned down like the racial passives and stuff a little bit, if I remember correctly, because some of them were quite overpowered, like the Forsaken one. I remember that one being way overpowered, and then there were some that were just garbage essentially. But yeah, there you go. So yeah, Cyberpunk, maybe I'm gonna get myself some Cyberpunk and see if it's playable now. I really hope that it is a good game, especially because, and I know some people will be shocked, I've never played anything from CD Projekt Red. I don't think. I definitely never played The Witcher, which I cannot even, if somebody asks me why I didn't play The Witcher, I cannot even explain it in a comprehensive way, because technically it's right up my alleyway. It is a RPG game. It's quite dark, at least from what I heard. It's not like a, you know, like a, oh, everything is so nice and cool RPG and the heroes always win kind of stuff. It's not like that as far as I've heard. So it is quite dark and gritty. It has like monsters in it and werewolves and witches and stuff like that. I liked that, you know, and it's an RPG. I like that too. But for some reason, I never really liked it. I'm not sure if the problem is that you play as a predefined character. Like, I don't think you can really customize it either, right? You always look the same pretty much, because you're Geralt. That's who you are. And maybe that is something that puts me off, because I kind of like to, you know, create my own character, and even if it's just in my head, invent like like a personal little story for the character and why he's doing things. But if I'm playing a predefined character, it's much harder for me to do that. Maybe that is the problem. I don't know. Or maybe I just never really had an opportunity to, or the impulse to play it. Again, it's really hard for me to say. So I hope that my first experience with a CD Projekt Red game is going to be a good one. Because technically I've heard a lot of good stuff about them. Well, to be fair, during the Cyberpunk release I also heard a lot of bad stuff about them. But, you know, with things like that you always have to take them with a grain of salt, and it's easy to, you know, to get angry at people making mistakes and people fucking up, and you're like, oh, you're such a huge company, how could you do something like that? How could something like that even happen? Don't you have, like, quality assurance? And I know it's not the same scale, but Jesus Christ, I know from my own work that there's sometimes things that just frickin' slip your mind, believe me. And it's Sometimes it's just these little things that you would not even check because in your mind you obviously did them right. And then if you check them afterwards because something doesn't work and you see it, you're like, God damn, am I that dumb? But no, you just, you know, everybody can slip up like that. That's just how it is. As Bon Jovi would say, halfway there, whoa-ho, living on a prayer, or something like that. But yeah, we are getting good progression, I think. But I have the feeling I'm gonna leave it at this for now and then continue next time. Or maybe I'm just gonna do this in a little time loop thingy, you know, because honestly, from talking so much, my throat gets kind of scratchy right now. So maybe it's I should really just do this in a little, in a quick way, and then next time we at least have, you know, a good starting point for the next room. Then we can just, you know, finish up the outer hall essentially, and yeah, and then continue down into the next two areas, which I have to plan out quite specifically, I have the feeling, because I have to fit gyroscopes and I would say at least like 2 reactors down there. I wouldn't feel comfortable with only 1 reactor, so I'm probably gonna stick 2 down there, I have the feeling. And a bunch of batteries too, you know, as like an emergency reactor kind of thing. So, yeah, you know what? Let's do that, shall we? I'm gonna continue construction, and it's gonna fade out as I'm finishing it. So, guys, I'm already gonna say thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time, and take care.